Wife said she'd be working late, but her location showed a fancy restaurant. I walked in and saw her laughing with a man. She froze when she saw me. Honey, I can explain. But the waiter came over with a bottle of champagne for two. I never thought of myself as the paranoid type. Emily, my wife of 6 years, had been working late a lot recently. No big deal. I trusted her. She had a demanding job, deadlines to meet. It was just part of life, or so I thought. Then last Friday, something weird happened. I had just finished dinner alone when she texted. Hey, babe. Working late again. Don't wait up. Love you. I texted back a quick okay. Love you too, and went to turn on the TV. But then on autopilot, I did something I'd never done before. I opened the Find My iPhone app. I don't even know why I did it. Maybe boredom, maybe instinct. But when her location popped up, my stomach dropped. She wasn't at work. She was across town at a fancy restaurant. For a second, I told myself there had to be an explanation. A business dinner. A last-minute meeting. But the longer I stared at that blinking dot on the map, the harder it got to ignore the gnawing feeling in my gut. Something was wrong. I could have texted her, I could have called, but instead, I grabbed my keys, got in my car, and drove. The whole way there, my mind raced. Maybe I was overreacting. Maybe I was about to make a fool of myself, but deep down, I already knew I wasn't. By the time I pulled up to the restaurant, my hands were gripping the steering wheel so tightly my knuckles were white. It was a high-end place. Dim lighting, expensive decor, the kind of spot we only went to for special occasions. I stepped inside, and the host looked me up and down. Do you have a reservation, sir? I ignored him. My eyes were already scanning the room. And then, I saw her. Emily. Sitting at a candlelit table for two, smiling across at a man I'd never seen before. She was leaning in, laughing at something he said, touching his wrist like it was the most natural thing in the world. My heart pounded in my ears. It wasn't a business meeting. It wasn't a casual dinner with a colleague. It was a date. Before I could even move, a waiter approached their table, holding a bottle of champagne. Compliments of the gentleman, he said, setting it down with a smile. As usual. As usual, Emily turned, still laughing, then froze. Her eyes went wide as she saw me standing just a few feet away. I stepped closer, locking eyes with her. Honey, I said, my voice calm. You were supposed to be at work. Her mouth opened and closed, her face draining of color. Honey, I can explain. The man across from her, Nathan, looked between us, suddenly uncomfortable. And then, the waiter made it so much worse. Oh, you must be her husband. He grinned, oblivious. I see your wife here all the time with Emily. Kicked his leg under the table, but it was too late. I could hear my own heartbeat in my ears. Emily sat there frozen, her hand still gripping the champagne glass. I tilted my head. Go on, babe. You were about to explain. Her eyes darted around like she was looking for an escape hatch. It's not what it looks like. I let out a sharp laugh. Really? Because it looks like you're on a date drinking champagne with him. I jerked my chin toward Nathan, who suddenly looked like he wanted to sink into the floor. Hey, man. He started raising his hands. I didn't know she was married. I cut him off. Didn't ask. The waiter, still oblivious, tried to help. Oh, they're regulars. They always get the Emily practically lunged at him. Can you give us a minute? The poor guy scampered away. I turned back to my wife. So how long? Emily swallowed hard. It's not serious. I smiled, but there was no humor in it. That wasn't the question. She blinked. How long? She let out a shaky breath. A few months. My jaw clenched, but I kept my voice steady. So every time you said you were working late, you were here? She didn't answer. Didn't need to. Nathan stood up abruptly. Look, I don't need this drama. He tossed some cash on the table. I'm out. I blocked his path with one hand. Sit down. He did. Emily was full on panicking now. Please, can we just talk about this at home? I smiled. Oh, we'll talk, but not the way you think. Because what she didn't know, I had come prepared. Emily's hands were shaking. She looked like she wanted to grab my arm and drag me out of there, but she knew better. She had nowhere to run. I pulled out my phone, tapped the screen a few times, and turned it toward her. Bank statements. Highlighted were multiple charges from this exact restaurant on nights she had claimed to be working late. I swiped again. Hotel bookings, a couple of nice ones, some cheap ones, all made during overtime hours. Swiped again. Texts. I had gone through our phone bill and pulled out all the numbers she'd been in contact with the most. A little digging led me straight to Nathan. Emily's face drained of color. Nathan groaned. "Oh, come on." He turned to Emily. "You told me you were separated." I let out a low laugh. "Separated? We live in the same house." Emily finally found her voice. It's complicated." I leaned in. "No, Emily. It's very simple. You cheated, you lied, and now you're caught." Nathan grabbed his coat. "Yeah, I'm done." I didn't stop him this time. He practically ran out of there. Emily's eyes filled with tears. "Please, let's go home and talk." I shook my head. "I don't think so." Then I reached into my pocket and pulled out something she never saw coming. A manila envelope. I dropped it on the table. "Congratulations, Emily," I said, voice calm. "You just won yourself a divorce." Her breath hitched. "Wait. I've been suspicious for a while," I admitted. "So I got ahead of things. This is everything the lawyer needs." She stared at the papers like they were a live grenade. I smiled. "Enjoy your dinner." Then I stood up and walked out, leaving her completely shattered. I didn't look back as I walked out of that restaurant, but I could feel it. The weight of every single stare drilling into Emily's back. The restaurant had gone silent. Conversations had stopped. Forks were hovering midair. People were watching. And Emily? She was still sitting there, a manila envelope of divorce papers in front of her, her face frozen in pure horror. I was halfway to the exit when I heard her chair scrape against the floor. "Wait," she called, practically tripping over herself as she rushed after me. I turned just as she reached me, her breathing ragged. "Please," she whispered, her voice cracking. We can fix this." I tilted my Hemley. "Your little working late routine. Your hotel hookups." Tears welled in her eyes. It was a mistake." I laughed loudly. Several diners turned to look. Emily flinched. "Please, can we just go home and talk?" I leaned in, lowering my voice just for her. "Emily, you weren't planning to talk when you were drinking champagne with your boyfriend. You weren't thinking about our home when you were checking into hotels." I took a step back. "So no, we're not going home." Her face crumbled. Then I turned to the waiter, the poor guy who had been caught in the crossfire. "Hey, do me a favor," I said, pulling out my wallet. He blinked. "Sure." I handed him my card. "Put their dinner on her tab." Emily let out a strangled noise. "What?" I smirked. "You've been stealing from me this whole time. Might as well pay for your own damn date." And with that, I walked out the door. Emily was left standing there, humiliated, heartbroken, and completely alone. The moment I walked out of that restaurant, I knew Emily wasn't done. Not because she cared about me. No. That ship had sailed the second she popped that champagne. She wasn't done because she had everything to lose. And I was about to make sure she lost all of it. By the time I got home, my phone had already started blowing up. "Please just talk to me. I messed up, but we can fix this. I don't even care about Nathan. He was just a distraction. I love you." Oh, now she loved me. I didn't respond. Instead, I forwarded everything. Bank records, phone logs, the full paper trail to my lawyer. Then, for good measure, I sent a few choice screenshots to her parents, and to our mutual friends, and to her sister who had never liked her and was about to have the time of her life with this information. Within hours, Emily's perfect little world started crumbling. Her mom called me. I don't even know what to say. She told us she was happy. I sighed. Guess she was happier with Nathan. Her sister. Oh, she went nuclear. I knew she was trash. I'm so sorry you had to deal with this. Also, I'm telling everyone. Emily tried one last move. She showed up at my house, banged on the door, begged me to just talk. I stood in the doorway, arms crossed. You should go. Tears streamed down her face. I don't have anywhere else to go. I smiled. That, I said, sounds like a you problem. Then I shut the door right in her face. Emily thought the worst was over. She thought that if she cried enough, if she begged enough, I'd eventually let her weasel her way back in. She was wrong because I wasn't just going to divorce her. I was gonna make sure she walked away with nothing. The weekend after everything blew up, we had a family gathering at her parents' house, something that had been planned weeks ago. Emily must have assumed I wouldn't show. So when I walked in, cool as ever, she looked like she was about to be sick. She rushed over. Why are you here? She hissed, keeping her voice low. I smiled. Oh, don't worry, honey. I wouldn't miss this for the world. Then before she could drag me outside, her sister stood up and cleared her throat. Emily's sister. So since Emily is too much of a coward to say it herself, I figured I'd help. She turned to the family. Emily's been cheating on Chris for months. Dead silence. Emily's mom gasped. Her dad, red-faced and shaking his head, and Emily completely freaking frozen. The relatives started whispering. Someone muttered, Jesus Christ. Then Emily spun to face me. You told them. I shrugged. Nah. I just sent the proof. Your sister did the honors. Emily turned to her mom. It wasn't like that. I made a mistake, but her mom cut her off. You lied to all of us. How could you? Emily's mouth opened and closed, completely humiliated. And then, just when she thought it couldn't get worse, Nathan walked in, or I should say Nathan tried to walk in. He barely made it through the door before Emily's dad turned and pointed. Get the hell out of my house. Nathan didn't even argue. He just turned and ran. And Emily? For the first time that night, she looked truly defeated. She had lost everything. And I had never felt better. Emily didn't stick around after that. Her parents were furious. Her sister dragged her through the mud. Half the family wouldn't even look at her. She stormed out of the house, humiliated, while I stayed behind, chatting with her relatives like nothing had happened. And Nathan ghosted her. He probably realized that a woman who cheated on her own husband wasn't exactly long-term material. Fast forward a few months, divorce, finalized, money, all mine. House, she never saw a dime of it. Emily, on the other hand, living in a tiny apartment, broke, isolated, a complete wreck. Then one night, my phone buzzed. A single text, can we talk? I stared at it for a few seconds, then I smiled and left her on read.